4th of July, fireworks in the sky, but the truth's still buried underground. Royal Low, yeah. They told me, wave the flag while the chains still clank. Told me praise the names on the blood-soaked banks. Told me freedom was born in the room full of men who wrote liberty down while they own human skins. So fuck your founding fathers and the myths they made. I don't pledge to the lie, I don't kneel to the page. You can light up the sky, I remember the smoke from the fields, from the ships, from the necks in the rope. You call it independence, I call it selective. You call it patriotic, I call it protective. Of the story so fragile it cracks when questioned. Truth knocks once and they call it aggression. Yeah. Red for the blood they spilled, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, yeah. No justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. They say, look how far we came. I say, look what it cost. Every courthouse got a shadow, every victory got lost. They gave statues to the takers, made heroes out of thieves. Put their faces on the money while the hungry couldn't breathe. Don't lecture me on freedom from a stolen land stage. Don't quote old documents with blood on the page. Don't tell me be grateful for a seat at the table when my people built the room and got treated unstable. You can't buy me through the truth, you can dress it in stars, but the anthem still echoes like chains behind bars. I don't hate the people, I hate the disguise. I hate when the guilty get praised as the wise. Red for the blood they spilled, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Don't call it hate when the wound speaks back. Don't call it division when our name was fact. Don't call it progress while the system still bites. Don't call it freedom if we still gotta fight. I'm not here for comfort, I'm not here to pretend. I'm here for the children who deserve better than this. Better than myths, better than chains, better than flags used to cover up pain. So this one's for the ancestors who never got rest, for the names never written but who gave us their best, for the mothers who prayed, for the fathers who ran, for the babies born fighting in the stolen man's plan. This is not disrespect, this is correction. This is not rebellion, this is resurrection. You can keep your parade, I keep speaking the truth. I don't need permission to remember my roots. Royal oak in the soil, truth in the flame. If the crown came with silence, then I don't want the name. But if the crown means standing when the whole world falls, then I'm 10 toes down till the real story's told. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roofs scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Fireworks fade, truth don't die. Royal low. 4th of July. Not your myth, not your lie, not your version of my life.
Right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. With that all being said, let's get ready to get black into it. All right. Emperor Rex, AJ Matthews, Dark Tube, Gregory, We the People. All right, let's get into it. Mel, Aqua Girl Rising is here. Okay, Jerron said Warren's family paid April Chapman to come to Ocean Springs. Hold on, hold on. I'm uploading something and it just changed my screen. Hold on. To come to Ocean Springs to be a black mouthpiece for the three that lawyered up. Yeah, with the same lawyer. You listen, I heard the same thing. Now, I can't substantiate that, but that is absolutely what people are saying, beloved. Okay, we have Don P here, AJ Matthews, The Lounge, Betty Boop. Let's get into it. Mrs. Poochie, Tone Shifter. All right. Jossie is here, Gregory, Adwa L, Angie, Sheila, Emily is here, Shannon, Shelvitz. Okay, Dallin is here. Let's get into it. Daughter of Zion, let's get this party started. Safety first. I know that's right. Okay, especially with the things that are going on right now. Desmond, shout out to all of my loyal roses and everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, Deborah. Okay, and a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. Okay, so let's get into it. Nessie X coming in here all late. Nolan is here, LL. Okay, with that all been said, and without further ado, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. Okay, so before we get started with today's nefarious report, let's go to this cloud that has seemingly has covered Mississippi. I find it all interesting. Hold on. Like, up, everyone, please like and share.
Is going on in South Haven, Mississippi. Now, yo, that was an actual real video. A lot of people recorded this video and put it across TikTok. Multiple people was in the comments saying they seen the same footage. Some people say they didn't have a chance. They didn't record. They didn't take pictures. But a lot of people say they seen this. And look at this clip.
Ain't no goddamn clouds this low to the ground like this. Like, this shit is crazy. What the fuck? Is this not weird as hell? Or like, is this shit normal? Like, this shit.
This happened in Memphis as well. A lot of people in Memphis is posting this clip too. So, yo, this is not AI. This is not an edit video. This is not an edit photo. But what in the clouds is going on in Memphis and South Haven, Mississippi? Y'all let me know in the comments. Y'all let me know in the comments. See, that's why I be telling y'all. I be going down the rabbit hole. It's water up there. It's no way for it to be shaped, how it's shaped like that. That look like a dark cloud over. See, I would go down this rabbit hole. I'm coming back for part 2. I'm coming back for part 2. I'm gonna call y'all back.
By now, I know y'all done seen the video of the cloud hovering over South Haven, Mississippi yesterday, close to Memphis. And y'all ain't gonna sit up here and tell me that cloud wasn't covering something. Because people that been staying there their whole lives have said we've never seen anything like that. And they got pictures. They got pictures floating on the internet of like faces coming out the cloud, y'all. If you haven't seen it, please look up the cloud in South Haven, Mississippi, right on the border of Memphis, Tennessee yesterday, y'all. They have never seen nothing like that. My brother sent me the video 20, 30 minutes ago, and I'm like, what is this? Make it make sense, man. I'm telling you, make it make sense, dog. When I looked at it, I'm like, that ain't normal. No, that was not normal. Make it make sense, man. Go look up the video of the cloud in Memphis, Tennessee. South Haven, Mississippi, close to Memphis, Tennessee yesterday, and tell me what you think. It looked like it was hiding a mothership or something. That to me, it ain't got to be what you think of it, but it looked like it was hiding something. Get in the comments and let me know what you think.
It's hiding the truth. Okay, Cyrus said, much love to our queen. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Good to see you, Cyrus. Okay, so listen, I don't know what's going on with that cloud, but it has been, that cloud was first spotted about a month or so ago. Yeah, Angie, it is scary, right? I've never seen anything like that. It looks like Mississippi has quite the dark history, okay, as we all know. Now, with that all being said, we're about to talk about some of these folks down there in Ocean Springs, and you all know me. I like to go and do deep diving research and find out what the hell's going on and who's connected to who. Now, I've already informed you all weeks ago that I do believe that it is a concerted network of cover-up, okay? People that engage in cover-ups, not just the Nolan case, but plenty of others, okay? Plenty of others, and I've told you about a few. Now, with that all being said, we're going to get into some of these things today, but before we do, Ron says, good morning, Queen. I rewatched the video of the granddad describing the unaliving, and he said when they got her boat started, listen to it. He said when they got her boat started, beloveds. Wait a second. Whose boat? Thank you for that. That's very important information. I missed that. Let me just write this down so I can go and check it later. Thank you. All right. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. See, that's why I love my subscribers, because my subscribers have critical thinking skills. All right. We'll be over here. All of us be figuring stuff out together in real time. Okay, now let's get into the shenanigans of it all, because these people are beyond nefarious, as I told you, and they have a pattern of doing these sorts of things. And we're going to talk about all of it because I have receipts. Now, with that being said, let's go to this lovely lady who goes in on Jerry Atkerson. Okay, because Grandpa was at the beach that day. He was at the island.
Step on up to the front. This next set of questions is for you. Now, we know that you called and canceled the tow. The question is, why would you think it was a good idea to deny professional towing assistance, deny Coast Guard assistance, and then have teenagers who had reportedly been drinking all day leave where they were anchored at Horn Island, venture out into 17 and 31-foot waters, and then fix a sinking boat situation by themselves by performing a belling maneuver? A maneuver that is known to be dangerous and also required another boat to pull them, probably full of drunken teenagers, in order to try to remove the water from the vessel. Thank God it actually worked. And yes, I said leave Horn Island, because from what's reported, the boys called sea tow at 4 o'clock while they were still anchored on Horn Island. They did not reportedly leave until 30 minutes after they reported their boat was sinking. And before anybody hops in the comment section stating, we don't need your opinion, let me be very clear. This is not my opinion. These are valid questions based on reported information, GPS data, and public statements. So, according to, say it with me now, verified GPS data, the boys called Cito around 4 o'clock. They did not leave Horn Island until 4:31. So let's walk through this together. The boys were on the phone with Cito while someone was on the phone with the grandfather, Jerry Atkerson, and he was simultaneously on the phone with the captain telling him not to accept the work order because they no longer needed the tow. So when the dispatcher went to transfer them to the captain, he informed her Jerry Atkerson had literally just got off the phone with him and informed him there was no problem. They didn't need them. You can audibly hear the dispatcher express concern, telling the captain the boys were frantic, they were distressed. Is he sure? She even offers to continue to send the work order anyway. And the reported response was, you can go ahead and send the work order, but Jerry Atkerson stated they no longer needed a tow. So that leads me to this question, Jerry. Why? Why did you cancel professional assistance when the boys were on the phone, distressed, and clearly had not resolved the issue yet? So that brings me to another huge question. Nolan's family was reportedly told they had to leave Nolan behind because their boat was taking on water. They had to hurry up, get emergency assistance to be towed home. End of story. And then we get the GPS data that lets us know they actually got a tow from someone else after canceling this tow order, fixed the boat themselves, and continued to travel for around an hour and a half before they finally docked. So this leads me to my biggest question. Nolan's family was told he had to be left behind because their boat was taking on water. They had to hurry up and leave so they could get towed back and the boat not capsize. And then we find out that they actually canceled the professional towing, fixed it themselves in the middle of the water, and proceeded to drive around for another hour and 21 minutes. 81 minutes in all they were on the water that they did not mention until GPS came out. So let me ask you something. If you had to rush off because your boat was taking on water, you've already stated there were 3 boats in your group. The first one had already left. The second one left with you guys when you started to take on water. If you knew no one was there to take Nolan home, you knew you took his phone, why did you not drive back during that 81 minutes to check on him, make sure he had a ride, drop his phone off, anything? The issue is not whether boats can have mechanical issues. We know they can. But when you have a distress call, a canceled tow, multiple different stories, and then a timeline that shows you were on the water 81 minutes after you left your friend behind, every single detail matters. Nolan's family deserves answers about every single one of those decisions.
They absolutely do. No lies detected, okay? No lies detected. Now, with that being said, the next point of business is I want to go to this a little bit of this report about the history of the Jackson County DA's office. Now, this is a podcast, and I'm not going to play the entire thing, but I am going to play some of it because the DA's office is problematic as far as I'm concerned, and I've already told you all this before. Okay, I told you how the current DA, Angel Myers McElrath, was working there. Okay, when they had that whole situation with the young black man who turned up dead while he was in the possession or while he was being detained by a sheriff's deputy. Okay, and then they said that he did that to himself, and everybody knows that's BS. But they have a pattern of these things going on, not just in Ocean Springs, but in Mississippi in general. And we already know that, but we're going to get to some of the tactics that they specifically use. Okay, so likes up, everyone, please like and share. Don't forget to double check and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving your notifications. Okay, always double check. You can find the links to the broadcast in my community tabs and also on X. All right, so I want you all to pay attention because I'm bringing you all exclusive news that you're not going to hear anywhere else until after this broadcast. Now let's get into it.
The office operated within a paradigm that simply accepted Haynes' expert status as an unquestionable given.
This is the guy we use.
Right. His findings were submitted to the court, entered into evidence, and presented to juries without any independent peer review and without any methodological challenge from the state itself.
They didn't ask questions.
But I want to play devil's advocate here for a second. If you are a young ADA, your boss tells you to use this guy. The judge accepts him without question. And the whole state has used him for 20 years. Is it really on the newest ADA to dismantle the entire system?
It is a fair point regarding the immense pressure to conform within legal institutions.
I mean, you'd be risking your job.
A DA's office is under tremendous pressure to clear dockets. Victims' families demand closure, the press demands arrests, and judges demand efficiency.
And this guy is giving them efficiency.
In that high-pressure environment, questioning the very tool that allows you to secure convictions is career suicide.
Right.
However, the legal and ethical obligation of a prosecutor supersedes office culture.
Because they have a higher calling.
A prosecutor's mandate is not to secure convictions at any cost. It is to seek justice. And seeking justice inherently requires verifying the integrity of the evidence you present.
You can't just look the other way.
By treating Haynes' findings with default acceptance, the office insulated itself from scientific skepticism and abandoned its gatekeeping role.
They turned a blind eye to the rusted, broken gears because the machine was still successfully in producing convictions.
Right up until it couldn't anymore.
But eventually, the machine broke. The source material notes that in 2008, the state of Mississippi finally, abruptly, severed all ties with Dr. Haynes.
The tipping point.
The mounting is that all three of these men were later completely exonerated through post-conviction DNA testing.
DNA is the ultimate truth teller here.
It doesn't lie.
It doesn't rely on the subjective interpretation of elastic skin under a black light, and it doesn't rely on a doctor rushing through his fifth autopsy of the day. The DNA testing definitively proved that the biological evidence at the crime scenes belonged to entirely different perpetrators.
It proved they were innocent.
It completely shattered the foundation of everything Haynes and West had confidently sworn to under oath.
Which forces us to pivot. We've established how compromised the medical and scientific work was. We know the volume was physically impossible, the credentials were misrepresented, the science was fictional, and innocent men were locked in cages.
It's a mountain of failure.
So the glaring, unavoidable question is, where were the legal gatekeepers? Where were the prosecutors who were sworn not just to win cases, but to uphold justice?
That question transitions us from a massive medical scandal into a deep systemic legal crisis, specifically focusing on the prosecutors who utilize these experts.
And this leads us directly to the 19th Judicial District and the specific timeline of its current leadership.
This is where the timeline gets very important.
The document.
Now I want you all to listen to this part because now they're specifically talking about the 19th district. Okay, please pay attention.
Documentation lays out a very precise, very crucial working window. It details that the current leadership of the Jackson County DA's office maintained an active, ongoing relationship with Dr. Haynes from January 2006 to August 2008.
That 2.5-year window is the critical nexus point for the ongoing constitutional issues.
The text specifies that this era intersects directly with Angel McElrath's early tenure as an assistant district attorney in that circuit.
Oh,
Her time cutting her teeth as an ADA aligns perfectly with Haynes' final, heavily scrutinized stretch as the region's primary forensic monarch.
so we have a prosecutor who eventually rises to leadership, operating within the system right at the climax of Haynes' unchecked power.
Exactly. The documentation analyzes the institutional mindset of the DA's office during this specific 2006 to 2008 window, and it defines it as a culture of default acceptance.
Default acceptance.
It means the office operated within a paradigm that simply accepted Haynes' expert status as an unquestionable given.
This is the guy we use.
Right. His findings were submitted to the court, entered into evidence, and presented to juries without any independent peer review and without any methodological challenge from the state itself.
They didn't ask questions.
But I want to play devil's advocate here for a second. If you are a young ADA, your boss tells you to use this guy. The judge accepts him without question, and the whole state has used him for 20 years. Is it really on the newest ADA to dismantle the entire system?
It is a fair point regarding the immense pressure to conform within legal institutions.
I mean, you'd be risking your job.
A DA's office is under tremendous pressure to clear dockets. Victims' families demand closure, the press demands arrests, and judges demand efficiency.
And this
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I don't want to bore you, but I wanted you all to hear what they're saying about the Jackson County DA's office. Okay? And then, yes, there was a lot of background noise that they have going on, totally unprofessional on their behalf. But nonetheless, I just wanted you all to hear what they were saying about the Jackson County DA's office, because I already told you all about their shady past and present, okay, in my opinion. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, now let's continue. I'm going to see if I can clean that audio up so we can listen to the rest of it at another time. Now listen to this. Judge Ashley Cole, let's talk about her first. Now, Judge Ashley Cole is an elected Chancery Court judge of the 16th District, covering Jackson, George, and Greene counties, as I've told you before. Now, that means that she has an ongoing working relationship with the District Attorney's Office and the Sheriff's Department. The same office is handling Nolan's case. Now, on any normal day, that relationship is unremarkable, okay? But her stepson was one of the boys on the boat with Nolan, and she publicly inserted herself into the case within days, posted about it as a sitting judge, which I immediately told you all right away. She had no business doing that, okay? It makes people question the judicial system, her ability to remain unbiased. And at the end of the day, she was just not supposed to do that because she was using her authority to try to resolve a family matter that was currently under investigation. So please pay attention. Now, that's the kind of appearance of impropriety Mississippi's own judicial conduct rules, Canon 2, are built to prevent. Okay, so they break their own rules. Now, District Attorney Angel McElrath, her office has sole discretion over what evidence goes in front of a grand jury and how hard she pushes to unseal Nolan's autopsy. Now, she also works alongside Judge Cole regularly in the same small judicial circuit, the same judge whose stepson is one of the boys being investigated. Mississippi Rules of Professional Conduct, Rule 1.7, bars a lawyer from representing a matter where a personal relationship creates a significant risk of limiting their duties, okay? Can we say conflict of interest? Okay, please pay attention. Now, her entire prosecutorial career was built during the Stephen Hayne era, okay, a system that trained prosecutors not to challenge sealed or questionable forensic findings, just to run with them. You see, that's the same posture her office is taking right now in the case of Nolan Wells. Autopsy reports are a matter of public record in Mississippi, but this one has been sealed. Okay, did you all know that autopsies in Mississippi are a matter of public record? Yes, they absolutely are. And let's not forget about the story that I told you of Dustin Settles, the white man who was found dead in water, and they released his preliminary autopsy report along with the fact that they deemed his death a homicide. Okay, but they don't want to be as transparent in this case. Please pay attention. But what we do know is that there is some sort of criminal investigation going on, because why are they still investigating? All right, if it was just nothing to see her, folks. Now, with that all being said, in Nolan's case, the autopsy has been sealed and the medical examiner won't release Nolan's toxicology, pathology, and organ findings, even to the independent pathologist who did the second autopsy. Now, the exact material he says he needs before he can reach any conclusion with medical certainty. Okay, this is all by design. They know exactly what they're doing because they've been doing it for decades. Now, Mississippi's own recusal statute, section 253121, requires a district attorney to step aside when a conflict of interest exists, and Rule 3.8 requires prosecutors to act as ministers of justice, not advocates for their own social circle, which is exactly what they're doing, in my opinion. Now, before I continue, because I'm about to do a whole lot of speculation, but also I'm going to be dropping facts. But still, let me give my disclaimer. All right. Views, opinions, allegations, and accusations expressed by guests, third parties, or commenters, or myself are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show or any of my affiliate channels and other social media accounts. Now, content is presented for commentary, discussion, reporting, and educational purposes. Discussion of an allegation does not mean that the allegation is true or endorsed by this channel. All persons are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. All right, because I don't need Edward Andrew Politics sending me some mafia rhetoric spewed and filled papers like he did Al Sharpton. Okay, talking all big and bad. Please pay attention. Now, let's talk about Jackson County Sheriff's Office. You see, this is the agency actually running the investigation. So like the DA, the Sheriff's Department works alongside Judge Cole and her office routinely. So a friendship that's completely unremarkable in any normal case. This isn't a normal case, however. See, back in 2008, the same sheriff's office handled the suspicious death of Billy Johnson Jr. And if those of you who were here when I did that broadcast, you should remember that. That's the young man that I was just mentioning, okay, at the start of this broadcast. Another case where the official story didn't add up and nobody was held accountable. Now in 2026, Nolan Wells' death is being investigated by the exact same office with the same pattern showing up again. Now, when the agency in charge of an investigation has personal ties to the family connected to that investigation, due process demands recusal. It's no different than when the McMichaels, Travis and Gregory, okay, when they took the life of Ahmaud Arbery, and then come to find out Gregory McMichael, the father, had worked in law enforcement for 30 years and had worked closely with the DA. Okay, they called for her to be recused, as well as a judge, if I'm not mistaken. Because all of these people, like I keep telling y'all, these small towns, these people all know everybody. They all know each other and hang out and cook, have barbecues and all of that. Now, that being said, when the agency in charge of an investigation has personal ties to a family connected to that investigation, due process demands recusal, not business as usual. Nothing to see here, folks. Okay, that standard is set under color of law statutes, 18 USC 241 and 242. Now, mind you, I'm being very specific here, and I'm not only giving you the information, but I'm giving you the laws that back up what I'm saying. Okay, the laws that back up what I'm saying, because here's the thing. I think we need to try to more so stick to the facts after that shenanigan where I discovered that what we all thought on the floor of the boat was a foot or a hand, and it only turned out to be something that was connected to the rope. Okay, yeah. Funny, I don't see anyone copying my talking points on that. I find it all interesting, but let me continue. So that all being said, that standard is set under color of law statutes 18 USC 241 and 242, and the constitutional right to an impartial investigator established in Ward versus Village of Monroeville and in Ray Murchison. Okay, those are the cases that set precedent. Now, let's talk about the FBI and what really is going on, because we know that they're down there in Mississippi and Ocean Springs specifically. They don't seem to have been doing anything for Nolan's family to help with that side of the investigation, but rather arresting people who they have deemed as being, having made threats to certain individuals. Now, of course, these people, if they were making threats, should absolutely be arrested, because who knows if they're going to act out or carry out those actual threats. Could have been just blowing smoke, but who knows, right? Better safe than sorry. But at the end of the day, I just find it a problem that they are finding the people making these threats to those other folks, but not to Nolan's family. Not one arrest made, really. And they know exactly who's making those damn threats. That's why no arrest has been made, because the people making the threats to Nolan's family live in Ocean Springs. You see, the calls coming from inside the house. That's why no arrests have been made. But let me continue. Mind you, that's all my opinion. I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure it's people down there in Ocean Springs. Okay, they've turned on on Christine Wansley. Okay, that's the consensus down there, and I got that from an Ocean Springs resident. But let me continue. Now, the FBI, several conflicts stack up here. Okay, you see, Nolan died in federal maritime jurisdiction, okay, near a mostly federal-owned land or island. Okay, waters where underage drinking and boating under the influence should trigger direct federal authority. Haven't I been telling you all this? Okay, why no arrest? Why is no one out looking to see who supplied the alcohol and the rugs that they claim were out there? And we see all of the adults out there, okay? The judge was supposedly out there, according to Warren. Warren's mother was out there, according to her, his biological mom, dropped off Carter and took a picture or whatever she claims she did for 10 minutes. And then we know Jerry Atkerson was just pictured in a photo days ago. I believe that was him, certainly looked like it. And so anyway, with that all being said, so yet that authority hasn't been used to push this case forward under 18 USC 7 or .7 and 46 USC 2302. Agents have moved fast to arrest people over threats against Judge Cole, like I said, while showing no comparable urgency. Okay, none whatsoever to Nolan's family. A pattern, you see, that echoes state-created danger doctrine under DeShaney versus Winnebago County. No victim rights advocate has been assigned under the Crime Victims' Right Act. The Crime Victims' Right Act, 18 USC 3771, and the agency's own federal civil rights oversight duty under 18 USC 241 and 242. They've gone unexercised. Okay, so please pay attention. All right. Don P said, wasn't Jerry out there as well? Yes, beloved, that's what I'm talking about. Wyatt's grandfather, Jerry Atkerson. Absolutely. Looked like him. Now, so the bottom line is this. Nobody in this chain is required to recuse, so nobody does. You see, nobody's putting the pressure on them. For them, it's just business as usual. We'll just keep doing what we've always done. Okay? This isn't one villain. It's a small system full of people with too much interest in each other and not enough interest in the truth and justice. Justice is owed to Nolan Wells' family, okay? And that's just a fact. Justice is absolutely owed. Now, I want you all to pay attention. Now, let's talk about something, because there's a lovely young lady who follows me, and she came up with 4 structural mechanisms that I thought were very interesting. And I also agree with them, and I'm going to read them to you. Because you see, these are the patterns of behaviors and the nefarious tactics that have been used, not just in Nolan's case, but in several cases, at least 10, according to my calculations. And that's just in the last, let's say about 10 years or so. Now, actually a little bit longer. I'd say from 2000 to 2026. These cases that I looked over. Okay, so all cases have 4 structural mechanisms in common. Let's talk about it. The first one is the 48-hour narrative block. Okay, you know what that is, right? The 48-hour narrative block is when the police come out immediately and say, hey, nothing to see here, folks. Looks like an accidental drowning. Okay, no evidence of foul play. Or when they see someone strange fruited in a tree and they say the same thing. Okay, now I've been telling you all this for years. I just didn't put it in the words that she did, but I've absolutely been telling you this. Okay, they don't come out there and gather any evidence when they claim they're doing an investigation. First of all, if you're doing an investigation, why are you already assuming and speculating on what was the cause and manner of death? I find that interesting. And as I told you before, they haven't collected any DNA, no footprints, no soil samples, no nothing. Okay, so like I said, the first one she talks about is the 48-hour narrative block. Immediately rule out foul play and say it's self-deletion. Okay, and who will say this? Who comes out and says this? It'll usually be the sheriff or the coroner. Okay, sometimes in different states, it may even be the mayor, like it was here in Georgia when they found a 23-year-old black man as strange fruit in a tree at Piedmont Park. And mind you, the Klan had been seen there just days prior passing out flyers. Okay, and then Mayor Kasim Reeves came out and said, nothing to see here, folks. He did it to himself. Now, this is a black mayor who said that. I didn't like him ever since. But let me continue. This lowers the standard, you see. This lowers the standard for investigations, okay, for evidence preservation, etc. You see, when they just come out and say nothing to see here, folks, no evidence of foul play. Oh, they did it to themselves. Well, what are you really going to investigate? And see, this is the same thing that I told you about Nolan's case. The fact that he came out there, the sheriff that is, and immediately started talking about, no evidence of foul play, but now you're conducting this investigation that's over a month long. So clearly there was something to see there, folks, is what I'm saying. Okay, hold on. Someone said something about Sloan Bella. Hold on. Even Sloan Bella went on a rant about Nolan. She said she's refusing to do a reading on him, but that young man was red rummed. Sloan Bella, in my opinion, is full of crap sometimes. Okay, I don't really care for her, but let me continue. And now, anywho, and they don't even process the crime scenes. You know how I've told you before, they need to seal off the crime scenes with the yellow tape. They need to have the crime scene investigators come out, start collecting soil samples, checking for tire marks and things. Because when these people are found in wooded areas out there in trees, how did they get there? Did they walk out there by themselves or did someone take them out there? And here's the thing, they're so full of BS because when people are hung from trees, it's never one person that does it. It's usually a group of people and they know that. And quite frankly, I think that it's law enforcement. Okay, that's exactly what I think because you have to ask yourself, who is taking these people out there? How are they getting these people? Greta said Sloan Bell is another Nancy Grace. Exactly. Now, how are they getting these people to go off with them? It would have to be at gunpoint, okay? Trust and believe. No black person is going off with some strange looking people, off to the woods. And especially when they know about all these strange fruits. Okay? It's somebody with authority that's making them go. Likely under the guise that they're being arrested or detained for whatever reason. But the second point she brings up is geometric and physical denials, forcing physical trauma or environmental context to fit a predetermined non-criminal conclusion. You see, that's when they say, oh, they did it to themselves. It's an ooh aside, right? The third is shielded central circle. You see, people last seen with the victim, and that's absolutely true in the case of Nolan, but in others as well, according to my research. Okay, so shielded central circle, which is the people last seen with the victim, they're not painted as persons of interest or suspects. Oh no, they're painted as grieving bystanders or friends who lost their loved ones. Okay, notice how Edward Paltic, when he wrote that letter to Sharpton, he said these three completely innocent young men who have lost their friend, they're grieving their best friend and all of that. See, that's what they get. Now, mind you, if it were black folk and a white person turned up unalived, and then we were all under suspicion, well, I can guarantee you that they would have had us all in a room, one by one in different rooms, playing good cop, bad cop, threatening that if you don't start talking, you're going to go down. You don't want to go down for this, do you? Just tell us what you know. Maybe we can cut a deal. Who did what? That's how that would go. And somebody would definitely have been arrested from day one, and they would probably still be sitting in jail. Okay? They will probably still be sitting in jail. But these are the people who, when I say stuff like this, they want to say, oh, stop making everything about race. But everything is about race in the United States. Okay? That's the way they made it. Okay, let's continue. Now, the last and fourth thing is the anatomical gatekeeping or withholding any type of physical anatomical evidence that they utilize. Okay, that they utilize the state's exclusive possession of the victims. Now, what would that be? Well, it could be biological, a biological record to block independent scrutiny. For example, when they were going to have the independent autopsy, how they refused to send Nolan's lungs and throat. That's what she's talking about. Okay, like withholding toxicology reports and things of that nature. All right, so these are the four structural mechanisms. Please pay attention. This is absolutely what the devil's down there in Ocean Springs engaged in my opinion. Okay, now, Nisa says, please, Queen, what does the name of the intro song, If You're Founding Fathers? Or you're saying, what's the name of it? It's called the 4th of July. It's called the 4th of July, beloved, and that's by Royal Oaks. Okay, that is by Royal Oaks. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Now, for those of you who missed it, if you didn't tune in last night, let's go back to where I told you all that Bart's brother is out here trying to sell a boat. I find that all interesting, and it was listed about a month ago, shortly after Nolan was found deceased.
All right, y'all. So I got this picture in my inbox that looks like the alleged boat. Someone is trying to sell it on the market. Now it's unverified, kind of verified, because of course I took the information into the market to see if it was actually in the market, and it is. It is in there for sale for that price, that same exact boat. Now I don't know if that is the alleged boat. All of this is alleged. I'm just saying I did verify that that is inside the marketplace on Facebook, and it is in there. It most certainly is in there. Now, I did click on the profile because it allows you to see the person's profile, things of that nature. And it's really not much on there. It's like, I think 3 pictures or 3 posts. It does have the Brooks Edmondson's name on there, but that's as far as it goes. So we're going to say it's unverified, verified, allegedly. Anyways, let's take a look. So what I can say is that the page seems to be legit because it was established in 2021. We're in 2026. So I don't know. But anyways, yeah.
That's a legit page. Okay, that's a legit page. He's selling that boat. He's selling that boat, and I find it all interesting. I find it all interesting. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Noise 77 said they're not investigating for real. Well, you know, beloved, probably not. Could be down there trying to cover up. That's what it seems like, right?
After hearing Bart's name twice in that Cito audio in the Nolan Wells case, I decided to see if maybe he's still around on social media. And sure enough, he's still on Facebook. So I sent him a message. It hasn't been read yet, and I'm sure I'll be hearing from his lawyers today. But here's what I asked Bart. Hi, Bart. I'm an investigative journalist. Would you care to comment on the Cito audio that names you twice? You claimed you were out of town. Where were you? Do you have receipts from your travels, meals, or other proof of being out of town? Or were you on that boat? Why did they say, damn it, Bart? And why were you instructed by name to undo the plug while you were going? And while he was going was right after they said, throw him in.
All nefarious. Absolutely nefarious. Hold on. Bat Snatcher said, why would she message him? Because she had questions, beloved. Clearly. She had questions.
Yeah, it's easier. It's easier to say that there's a serial killer in Mississippi than to confront hundreds of years of white violence. I've had multiple people tell me what's going on in Mississippi, people being hung up in trees, it must be a serial killer. And I'm going to tell you the chances of that, slim to none. Why? Because I've been tracking these deaths. And yes, it's happening a lot in Mississippi, but it's also happening in North Carolina, Texas, New York, Florida, Colorado, California, Illinois, Michigan. I think Ohio's on my list. I'm not looking at it. So either we're dealing with the most prolific serial killer of our time, who also probably has their own plane, or more likely, we're dealing with systems and structures that have allowed white Americans to kill Black Americans in this country for hundreds of years. We're dealing with our history coming back home yet again. We're dealing with systems and structures that perpetuate this, leaders that allow it. And that's much more uncomfortable to sit with. Wouldn't it be nice to have one person to blame? Wouldn't it be nice to catch one person and it will all stop? And I cannot tell you how unlikely that is. Every single one of these families deserves justice, and we can't stop talking about it, but I need you to squash that idea in your mind, but also in others. The probability of this being one person perpetuating all of this is so slim. And the need to blame one person in this country is, one, it's very American. Two, it's what we always do. Oh, if we just take care of this one person, everything will be fine. That's not.
Yeah, they're trying to say it's a serial killer, or do they think we're that dumb? Now, Irma says Judge Ashley made a post on Facebook recently telling Nolan's parents and legal team they're here to help find out what happened to Nolan. I saw that post. She's full of crap, okay? She is full of crap. Listen, after I showed you all how she strategically posted or sent a text to Mrs. Christine Wansley, okay, saying, hey, Christine, this is Ashley Cole. Here's my number if you ever want to talk to me. Didn't say anything about condolences. And then 16 minutes later, she goes on Facebook and posts about, oh, how we're grieving with Nolan's family. That lady is nothing but performative, and she is so full of crap. And I don't care about anything that she has to say or do, because she's just a liar who lies, in my opinion. And I absolutely believe that she's the whole one, or the main one, who orchestrated what I deem as a cover-up. Now, mind you, that's all speculation. I can't verify it, but I absolutely think that is the case, beloved. And thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. That lady needs to sit down somewhere talking about she's there to help them find out. Please. Okay? That's the last thing she's trying to do, in my opinion.
The truth. Confront the history. Sit with the discomfort. Learn the history. Find the systems and structures that perpetuate it. Oust the leaders that allow it. Change the laws moving forward, and get justice for all of these families. Foot on the gas. We don't stop until we get justice and the truth. Yeah, it's easier. It's easier to say that there's a serial killer in Mississippi.
Yeah, they don't want to talk about the truth of the matter, do they? So now let's continue. Nolan Wells and Jerry Atkerson. Okay, Jerry Atkerson has a whole maritime empire, according to people on the streets. Okay, Jerry Atkerson is far from the standard grandfather. You see, he's a powerful structural player in the local maritime ecosystem. Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. So here's the thing. Hold on. Let me get my receipts together. Okay, now, hold on. We're going to go back to Jerry. I have to dig for my receipt. But in the meantime, let's talk about Nolan Wells and the Seymour Hudson family affair. Now, mind you, I was wondering, Katie Seymour Hudson, that's Warren's mother. And I said to myself, okay, so her last name, her last name is not Hudson. Where did I get that from? Her name is Katie Seymour. Okay, and I remember thinking, is she related to Jax? I mean Morgan, because Morgan's last name is Seymour, spelled the same way. So anyway, I did some digging. These households operate as one massively interconnected blended family unit where all 6 kids grow up together across households. Okay, let's talk about it. So first of all, the core children, that would be the 6 siblings. That's Warren, Carter, Ava, Anna, Caroline, Morgan. Okay, now the Hudson line. Okay, so the parents, Dr. Benjamin Hudson and Dr. Benjamin Hudson Sr. and Katie Hudson Seymour. Okay, yeah, her name is Hudson Seymour. Okay. She was previously married to him, clearly. Okay, so anyway, biological children, Warren, Carter, Ava, Anna, and Caroline. Now, current status, co-parenting the 5 Hudson children across their new households. Okay, the Seymour line. You have the parents, Jason Seymour, biological child, Morgan Seymour. All right, current status, married to Katie, bringing Morgan into the primary sibling unit. Now, the step-parent extensions. Okay, in the one household, you have the Seymour Hudson residents, parents in the home, Katie Hudson Seymour and Jason Seymour. The dynamics. Katie is the biological mother to the 5 Hudsons and stepmother to Morgan. Jason is the biological father to Morgan and stepfather to the 5 Hudsons. Now, if you remember when Warren did the interview with Rage Baden, Tap Dancing Tatum, he said that his stepfather stepfather came into the room and woke him up and asked about Nolan. Okay, so that's obviously who he was speaking on. Okay, so then let's talk about the Hudson Cole residents. Parents in the home, Dr. Benjamin Hudson Sr. and Judge Ashley Cole Treeherne. Let's not forget that she still uses that name on occasion, especially if she's running for public office, Treeherne, because those people are well respected, prominent, have a whole lot of political and law enforcement influence due to their donating. Now, with that being said, Judge Ashley Cole is the stepmother to Warren, Carter, Ava, Anna, and Caroline. Morgan Seymour is fully included within this extended family circle, rounding out the 6 children frequently referenced in their combined family unit. Okay, parent professional profiles. Well, first of all, in household 1, you have Seymour Hudson, the father and the stepfather. Okay, attorney Jason Seymour. All right, he's an attorney. Profession, licensed attorney practicing in the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Legacy descends from one of the oldest pioneer families on the Gulf Coast, foundational settlers, in fact, of Jackson County. Now, biological father to Morgan Seymour, stepfather to the 5 Hudson siblings. And then the mother, stepmother Katie Hudson Seymour. Her profession, co-founder of Tour de Coast e-bike, a private e-bike share company launched in downtown Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Okay, biological mother to Warren, Carter, Ava, Anna, and Caroline. Stepmother to Morgan Seymour. Business partner notation. So she founded the company alongside lifelong friend Beth Edmiston. Who is Beth Edmiston? Also known as Elizabeth Edmiston. That is Bart's mother. Didn't I tell y'all all of these people, every last single one are connected, not just their children. Their children are friends because the parents are friends and colleagues and such and so forth, and business partners and things. Now, with that all being said, let's go to household number 2. Hudson Cole, father and stepfather. Dr. Benjamin Hudson Sr., profession, licensed physician, specializing in addiction recovery for the Singing River Health System. All right. Rupert says, bless y'all. I'm at work checking in. I'm going to catch up later. One love. Thank you, Rupert, beloved. Have a good day at work, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for your contribution, your kind words, peace, love, and blessings. Now, with that all being said, it goes on to say, licensed physician specializing in addiction recovery for the Singing River Health System. Okay, biological father to Warren, Carter, Ava, Anna, and Caroline. Now, mother and stepmother, Judge Ashley Cole Treeherne. All right, Jackson County Circuit Court judge commanding a prominent legal and judiciary profile. That is her position or her profession. Now, the problems created with the Nolan Wells case investigation. Let's talk about that real quick. Why don't we? So applying this specific blended family ecosystem to the Nolan Wells investigation, it outlines a single family unit wielding defensive, judicial, frontline, medical, and political authority. It places an immense structural weight on the local justice system. Jason Seymour provides an instant legal shield. Okay, please pay attention. Okay, because he's an attorney. Dr. Benjamin Hudson provides frontline ER physician proximity to law enforcement, county coroners, medical examiners. Let's not forget that he also knows about toxicology. Okay. And then Ashley Cole Treeherne provides tremendous judicial hesitation by law enforcement, i.e., the DA. Kate Hudson Seymour provides political insulation via state appointments and commercial and financial synergy, further tightening their social and structural standings in the community. Now, in a high-profile crisis like the Nolan Wells investigation, a family backed by state-level political capital possesses the leverage to shield themselves from localized accountability. Local agencies are often hesitant to push hard when the targets have direct professional lines to state leadership. Now ask yourselves why these prominent oath-taking professionals have allowed everyone to be completely mistaken about the who's who of it all. Okay, please pay attention. Now that we know the who's who, we have 2020 vision looking at the devil in the details, as I love to say. Okay, please pay attention. These people are all so nefarious as far as I'm concerned, okay? Absolutely nefarious. All right, Ramona Jackson says, hold on, let me read a couple of these comments. Says the entire town part of a cover-up. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree, beloved. Okay. I Am Technology said it's like a colony of interconnected vampires down there in Ocean Springs. Yes, that is a good way to put it. All right, I like that analogy. All right, now let me continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. These people are something else. Let's see, where do I want to go next? Okay, so yeah, let's talk about Jerry Ackerson and his maritime empire. Like I said, he's far from a standard grandfather. He's a powerful structural player in the local maritime ecosystem. Let's get into it. So, Jerry Ackerson's ownership of major regional boat dealerships, including a primary location right in Ocean Springs, is exactly what transforms him from a regular grandfather into an extremely powerful structural player in the local maritime ecosystem. Now, in coastal Mississippi, owning a boat dealership does not just mean selling a retail product. It means controlling the literal supply chain, service contracts, and professional networks that local captains and maritime networks rely on to survive. Now, I want you all to marinate on that for a second. You see, that's why when he called to cancel that tow, the captain already knew what time it was. The captain was already in on it. He knew that they were establishing an alibi. Okay. He knew that they were setting a record, that they were going to make sure they had the phone call placed because these calls are recorded. It's going to be time stamped and all of that. Okay. He knew this. Let me just say allegedly. But I absolutely believe that he knew because these people rely on Jerry Ackerson. And like I said, they're not going to step on each other's toes. Okay, that's what they're not going to do. So anyway, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please, please don't forget to like and share. Now, with that all being said, the Sea Tow and Salvage Alliance. Let's get into it. Commercial maritime assistance operations like Sea Tow heavily rely on local dealerships for fleet purchases, warranty service, engine parts, and steady customer referrals. A dealership owner holds massive financial leverage over these operators, allowing them to pick up the phone and directly dictate, pause, or even cancel emergency salvage responses. So the industry intermediary. So as a premier dealer, Adkerson holds direct personal lines of communication to regional boat captains. Didn't I tell y'all he called that man on his personal phone? Okay, that's why there's no record of the call that they've released. All right, because he called him on his cell phone. But all of that's still going to come out, mind you, because of the subpoenas that Christine Wansley sent out. She asked for that too. Whoever communicated with Sea Tow or the captains or anyone that staffed there, whether it was on their own business lines or other. All right, so it's all going to come out in the watch. And if it doesn't come out in the watch, it'll definitely come out in the rinse. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, so anyway, as a premier dealer, Ackerson holds direct personal lines of communication to regional boat captains, commercial fishermen, and charter operators who frequent his shops for maintenance, repowering, and specialized electronics installation as well. Now, let's talk about the regulatory connection. You see, dealership operations require constant, high-level interaction with state regulatory bodies like the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, known as MDMR. Now, I'm still watching them to see if they're going to try to change anything on that timeline that they released. So, that all being said, this creates an environment where corporate maritime interests and local enforcement agencies share a collaborative working relationship long before an emergency ever even happens. Now, why did he call the captain? Well, here's the thing. As someone heavily involved in regional boat sales and service in Ocean Springs and surrounding areas, Atkerson would frequently cross paths with marine law enforcement personnel and tow captains during official agency purchases, and as well as warranty servicing and public maritime events. You see, this means having friends in high places, like a former county sheriff that is a now congressman. Okay, his dealership, Crown Leisure Marine, does profit from government vendor contracts. Bet y'all didn't know that. Just remember, you heard it here first. Now, as evidenced by their successful vendor contracts, as evidenced by their successful bid to supply a vessel to the city of Gulfport, Crown Leisure Marine handles the sales, installation, and the integration of advanced marine electronics, including Simrad and Lawrence GPS their fish finder units. Now, the dealership advertises that it employs factory trained technicians who are experts in complex engine diagnostic testing and electrical systems. By the very nature of his business, you see, Atkerson employs or subcontracts certified marine technicians who intimately understand the technical architecture, as well as localized data storage and erasure protocols of vessel GPS navigation systems. Did y'all hear that? Yeah, that's right. Erasure protocols of vessel GPS navigation systems. Now, on July the 8th of 2026, it was Jerry Atkerson alongside Jennifer Pyron who met with investigators to sign the official permission to search documents, allowing police to pull the critical GPS data logs from the Triton. Okay? And I wonder what happened in those 4 days. By adding Jerry Atkerson and that commercial dealership empire into the equation, it reveals exactly how private capital controls public waterways and structural logistics. Okay, please pay attention. Remember how I told you all that was very problematic, the fact that they got permission from him rather than obtaining a warrant and getting a judge to sign off on it, rather than going out there with the luminol and the crime scene investigators and the cadaver dogs. They didn't do any of that. I bet you they probably just sent 2 deputies from the sheriff's department down there, and they just walked around the boat, looked around for a second or two, and got out of there. I bet you that's what they did. Okay, I'm very serious. It completely transforms the narrative from a simple local incident into a textbook example of modern institutional capture. Okay, so now we know what was up with Grandpa in the seat-tow call. Yeah, he canceled it after he told them to make the call in the first place to establish their alibi and so that everything will be time stamped and recorded. Please pay attention. They thought they had an undisputed alibi until they didn't. Okay, even that picture that that video they had posted, they thought that was going to prove something. Well, it's proved that they're liars who lie and that they're not to be trusted. I mean, just in my opinion. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about good old Sheriff Ledbetter and his multi-generational ties to a congressman by the name of Ezell. Okay? The concentrated hereditary power structure of Jackson County. All right, let's get into it. Because, this is a family affair. Who is Congressman Ezell? He followed in his dad's footsteps, launching his law enforcement career. Okay, that's what he did. Hold on, beloveds. Hold on 1 second. I need to get my glasses. Okay. Now, that all being said, he followed in his father's footsteps, launching his law enforcement career with the Pascagoula Police Department immediately out of high school. Over 42 years, he worked as a patrol officer, a detective captain, and member of the FBI Safe Streets Task Force, okay, chief of police for Ocean Springs, and a district attorney investigator before winning election as Jackson County Sheriff in 2014. You see, Mike Ezell, or Ezell, I'm going to say Ezell. That's what it looks like. Ezell. Okay, this is what he did before he became sheriff of Jackson County and had the current sheriff, John D. Ledbetter, mind you, working directly under him as his chief deputy for 8 years, okay, before being elected to Congress and handing the office over to him. But how did Ezell and Ledbetter get to that point? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You see, the Ledbetter and Ezell family lines have directly overlapped across municipal, and that would be the Pascagoula Police Department. Okay. Mm-hmm. So and Jackson County Sheriff's Office, okay, jurisdictions for multiple generations, creating a concentration of authority and influence within Jackson County. And let me just say this. If you all remember, I do believe that it was attorney Tyler J. Cox. Maybe it was Paltzik, but one of them, I think it was Cox, who referred to the boys as a confederacy of friends. Okay, that was a dog whistle. And in fact, that's what the people of Ocean Springs are. You say they're a very tight knit or close knit confederacy of friends, colleagues, elites, and all of that. They're a whole network, is what I'm saying. And quite frankly, I think that if the FBI weren't shady under Donald Trump and didn't have Small Change Patel leading the way, they might be able to get hit with a RICO for all the nefarious things that have been going on down there for decades. But let me continue. Now, anyway, um, yeah, so jurisdictions for multiple generations, creating a concentration of authority and influence within Jackson County. Now, Sheriff John C. Ledbetter, okay, um, his grandfather served with the Pascagoula Police Department, where municipal and county directories document his tenure as assistant police chief spanning 2 decades. And I think I told you all that before, like weeks ago, that his grandfather was also worked at the police, was the sheriff down there. So nepotism clearly. Now he transitioned into county level executive leadership when he was elected as the Jackson County Sheriff, holding office from 1976 to 1984. That was his grandfather. Now, Congressman Mike Ezel's father, Buck Ezel, served under the direct command and leadership of Sheriff John C. Ledbetter, okay, the current sheriff's grandfather. You see what I'm talking about? This is definitely multi-generational ties here. Okay, within the Pascagoula Police Department, he served there for decades. Both families laid their local public safety foundations in the Pascagoula Police Department, where S.H. Buck, Ezel, and Sheriff John C. Ledbetter overlapped, okay, establishing an institutional blueprint that their respective son and grandson later followed. Now, the lineage maps a direct line from municipal policing and county administration straight into the highest levels of local executive power and federal representation, with both families occupying the Jackson County Sheriff's Office before one transitioned to Congress and the other stepped into the role as sheriff. Now, the familial ambition doesn't even stop there. You see, both Mike Ezel and John D. Ledbetter earned their federal law enforcement credentials from the FBI National Academy in Quantico, okay, leveraging that high-level law enforcement training for local executive leadership rather than federal agency careers. Both the Ledbetter and the Ezel families are multi-generational, born and raised residents of Jackson County, Mississippi. Now, I want you all to pay attention because there again, we have someone with ties to the FBI. Okay, because the DA, Angel Myers McElrath, her husband, his name's Scott or Steve. I want to say Steve, but he also went to that FBI training camp and he has the FBI logo on his social media. And this is why people mistakenly thought that he was an FBI agent. I think he's trying to cosplay as one, but let me continue. So that all being said, where was I? So both the Ledbetter and Ezel families are multi-generational, born and raised residents of Jackson County, Mississippi. Their lifelong residency in the county parallels their deeply entrenched multi-generational history within the local law enforcement and political infrastructure of the region. Now, the cherry on top for me is the sitting governor supports and endorses both Ezel and Ledbetter. Okay, remember how he said Governor racist, blackface wearing, okay, Tate Reeves said that he and Ledbetter were personal friends. Okay, and so that all being said, so if Ledbetter says there's no foul play, who's going to challenge him? Who? You see, his former boss is Congressman Ezel. Is he going to challenge him? Absolutely not. The governor of Mississippi that publicly agreed with Ledbetter, even though he didn't know all the facts and said he hadn't even been following the case, he agreed with him too. and their personal friends. The FBI, are they going to disagree with him? Absolutely not. He's got ties to them as well. The same FBI that Ledbetter and Ezel belong to, are we supposed to think they're going to put him in check? Any and all challenges to their narrative have come from those that are relentless in the pursuit of justice. Okay? Remember that. And that will be us, we, the people. Because any of these other officials, political officials, law enforcement agencies, they're not going to do anything to go against these people. Okay? That's what they're not going to do. So, likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, question is there ever going to be justice for Nolan Wells? That's a very hard question. I don't think that there is. I think that possibly arrests will be made, but I think that they'll have it already set up so that the jurors all look like the people who are accused, if anyone actually is accused. And I don't think there's going to be any serious consequences. I just really hate to say that, but I don't. Okay? Now, with that all being said, I'm not going to read all of this. It's a whole lot of legalese, and you all would likely be bored. But let's talk about good old Governor Reeves, for those of you who missed it. Because he's an initiated lifetime member of the Kappa Alpha Order, the organization that designated General Robert E. Lee as its spiritual leader. Y'all remember me telling you that weeks ago, right? So Governor Tate Reeves' background with the Kappa Alpha Order at Millsaps College connects directly to the historical institution networks that undergird Mississippi's power structures. Okay, the Millsaps chapter maintained an Old South culture. The organization designated General Robert E. Lee, who was president of Washington College at the time of its founding, as its spiritual leader and viewed Lee as the embodiment of Southern gentlemen. Members looked to Lee's persona of duty, honor, and chivalry as the moral compass of the organization. KAO's public tenets center on gentlemanly conduct, reverence, and regional heritage. However, its historical framework is deeply intertwined with the lost cause narrative of the post-Reconstruction American South. Reeves was an active member of the Kappa Alpha Order, and that's what KAO stands for, in case you missed it. Okay, a fraternity at private Millsaps College in Jackson during the mid-1990s, appearing in yearbooks from 1993 to 96. During Reeves's undergraduate years, the chapter faced severe public scrutiny and administrative discipline. You see, back in October of 1994, members of Reeves's KAO chapter were disciplined by the university after confronting Black students on campus, shouting racial slurs and displaying Confederate flags and Afro wigs, mocking Black people. Now you can see clearly, in case you missed the first report that I did exposing Governor Reeves, now you can see clearly why he came out there to speak on the death of Nolan Wells, okay, and to simply say nothing to see her, folks, no evidence of foul play, even though he didn't even know what the evidence was, if it had even been collected. He's just going by what Ledbetter told him. But also, it was important to note that when he came forward to speak publicly on it, he didn't even offer condolences. And this is why, because he's a whole racist. Okay, that's what he is. Archival yearbooks and student newspapers from his tenure also featured explicit images of fraternity members in blackface, drag, and plantation-era costumes. The broader institutional pipeline of the Kappa Alpha Order chapters across the South historically functioned as an elite social networks for wealthy white fraternity members destined for regional political, financial, and legal leadership roles. Okay? So they're groomed to become the people that they now are. Now, Reeves transitioned directly from his collegiate environment into financial portfolio, management at major Mississippi institutions, Deposit Guarantee, Trustmark National Bank, all before launching his political career as state treasurer in 2004, then lieutenant governor in 2012, and governor in 2020 until sadly now still present. Reeves is among the 150,000 plus Kappa Alpha Order initiated lifetime members. Okay, please pay attention. And so now that we know all of this information, is it even logical to question whether race plays a part in the Nolan Wells case? I mean, since they want to say that we are always making it about race, isn't that what they love to tell us? Yeah, of course it is. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. That all being said, Ledbetter is definitely not the typical sheriff, okay, that one would expect. Well, I guess he is a typical sheriff for down there in a small town like Ocean Springs, where they have Southern Fried Justice and they play these political games and all of that. Okay, so anywho, that's the gist of it. With these people down there, like I told you all, it's definitely a whole network of nefariousness going on. These people are working together in tandem, like I've told you all, in concert, unison, whatever you want to call it, however you want to put it. They're absolutely working together. And this is, in fact, a cover up. This is a cover up. They can miss me with it, okay? And I'm not alleging, I'm saying that it's a whole damn cover up. And that's what they've been engaging in other cases as well. Okay? That's what they've been doing. Now, Delano says, great research queen, they're stalling their demise, which is inevitable. Okay? Absolutely, because God sees all, beloved. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your kind words and your contribution. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. And now, let's see here. Do I want to read this? Hold on, beloveds. This is just some extra information I had about Ledbetter. In 2019, he graduated from the 275th session of the National FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia. It appears that there is a diagnostic law enforcement infrastructure behind the steering wheel of the Nolan Wells investigation, and multiple conflicts of interest are in the passenger seat. Please pay attention. Okay. Now, the DA and the 19th Circuit District Attorney's Office, she's running are conflicts of interest. The Jackson County Sheriff and the JCSO that he is running are conflicts of interest. The PPD and its leadership are also conflicts of interest. Now, this might explain why there is a conflict in the scope of interest between Nolan's family and the prosecutorial investigatory entities involved in the case. It's because these people are all working together, like I keep telling you all. And it's really sad and disheartening because it just seems like Nolan's poor family, even with all of the stuff that they're going through, I mean, they're trying to figure out what happened to Nolan. They're trying to get justice for him and all of that. And the thing is, they have everything working against them. Even the people in the town who would, want to come out and say something likely won't. Because think about this powerful network of elite people who just run everything. Okay, they own businesses down there. They own lands. Some of them even own parcels of Horn Island. Okay? And let us not forget about the Dixie Mafia. Okay? And the United White Knights of the Triple K. Please pay attention. Alejandro, beloved, thank you for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Yeah, this is all real crazy. Now, anyway, okay, so let's go to this clip right here. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Just a quick snapshot of some files that I have on my database that is ever expanding because it's like every week I'm able to uncover, just more cases of Black men that are unalived and missing.
These are cases of Black men who've lost their lives under suspicious circumstances down there in Mississippi. Okay, a judge shall uphold the integrity and independence of the judiciary. Failing to maintain distance from an active death investigation involving personal or social interlocks destroys public confidence in judicial integrity. And you see, that's where Judge Ashley Cole effed up. Okay, That's where she effed up. She should never have come out and said anything. She should have kept her mouth shut. Now, a judge shall avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all activities. Okay, Canon 2B specifically dictates that a judge shall not allow family, social, political, or other relationships to influence judicial conduct or judgment, nor lend the prestige of judicial office to advance private interest. Utilize an official standing or proximity to shape, oversee, or shield individuals within personal social structures from rigorous law enforcement scrutiny constitutes a direct breach of Canon 2B.
Mississippi under suspicious circumstances where 4 structural mechanisms apply.
Hold on, I'm going to fast forward.
So, like, definitely. Like, there's so.
Now, as you can see, all of these people listed here are people that we've talked about who passed away under very strange circumstances. Like I said, Rasheem Carter. Rasheem Carter, 2022, ruled no foul play, okay, within hours, fractured bones and decapitation attributed to animal scavenging. And we know that his cucumber was found, you know what I'm saying, where that was found, okay? And they want us to think animals did it. And then Trey Reed, okay, rushed to say there was no assault markers, public statement, hanging scene, foot metrics, and spatial branch heights, unverified, okay? And, you know, they said that this was self-deletion as well. Willie
Much, and
Willie
like all
Jones.
of this, my database, it's like none of this is isolated to just one geography.
Okay, so basically she just goes over a bunch of cases that I've already told you all about, for the most part. With that all being said, listen, I'm going to conclude this broadcast, but I think that you all should know that this whole network that I keep talking about, and I keep showing you how these people are all just working together, you know, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. Okay? It just keeps getting deeper and deeper. And Stacy Turner, the nefarious medical examiner down there, who has had a questionable past in history and still continues to do so, you know, she's in charge of what's the young lady's name who was found hanging? Tasia Fortune. Yeah, she's in charge. She had her body as well. Okay. And then also, let's not forget the coroner down there, Brian Lind. Okay. The things that he said about Black people, disparaging things, how he seems to be just like more of the same, a confederacy of friends. And mind you, the coroners don't even have to go to college down there. Okay. They're just elected. Do these people even know what the hell they're doing? I have several questions. That all being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share. Okay, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. I will be back later on with more information. And until next time, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, and never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. And until next time, peace.
Yeah. For Nolan Xavier Wells. 18 years old, gone too soon. Mississippi, y'all got some explaining to do. Mississippi, need to release that report. Low down, dirty ass Mississippi. What you hiding? Why you not talking? Why the hell you not saying a damn thing? Talk. I pray the family get a real answers. And no, we the people won't go away. Never, hell no, not today. Mississippi, the Most High gonna really deal with you. July 4th lights, boat ride with the crew. Young King Nolan chasing dreams, Ocean Springs through and through. Horn Island called his name, he relaxing in the blue. 2 days later found on the sand. What happened to you? Independent autopsy dropped, but it's undetermined. Red mark on the back of the head, neck structures missing. Absurd. State sitting quiet, toxicology on the shelf. Family screaming for truth, but y'all protecting yourself. Nolan was a star athlete with a future bright. Now his mama crying every single night. Boating trip turned nightmare. Questions in the air. Who was on that island? Why the silence? secrets, covering up the scheme. Oh, young black man gone, another one in the South. History repeating, time to open your mouth. What you hiding in them files? Why the delay? Transparency dying while the family pray. Nolan's light was shining, future snatched away. Now the whole world watching what Mississippi say. We marching, we posting, we demanding justice loud for every mother losing sons behind that murky cloud. Oh, I pray the family get real answers. No more games, no more lies. No more games, no more lies. Nolan deserved better, the truth never dies. From the island to the courtroom, we standing tall.